Chapter 2, Peter's Lost Shadow. Before we begin, you must have noticed that wherever you go, your shadow follows you. Depending on the light, the shape, size and darkness of the shadow varies, but it never disappears completely. The shadow is bound to follow you no matter where you go. How would you feel if your shadow is lost somewhere? Would you bother to look for it? Peter Pan is a magical boy who never grows up. He lives in Neverland and often comes to visit the Darling family, Mrs. and Mr. Darling and their children Wendy, Michael and John, without them knowing about it. One evening, when Peter is sitting by the window of a room in the Darling home, the window is blown shut. Peter escapes, but his shadow is trapped inside. Tinker Bell, a fairy who is Peter's friend, tells him that his shadow is shut in a drawer inside the room. The window was blown open by the strong wind. Peter rushes into the room through the open window to find his lost shadow. He jumped at the drawers, scattering their contents to the floor with both hands. Soon he found his shadow inside the drawer. Peter had thought that he and his shadow, when brought near each other, would join like drops of water. But he was shocked when this did not happen. He tried to stick on his shadow using soap from the bathroom, but that also failed. Peter sat on the floor and cried. His sobs woke Wendy, and she sat up in bed. She was not worried to see a stranger crying in her room. She was only pleasantly interested. "Boy," she said politely, "why are you crying?" Peter could be polite too, having learned manners at fairy ceremonies. He rose and bowed to her beautifully. She was much pleased and bowed beautifully to him from the bed. "What's your name?" he asked. "Wendy Moira Angela Darling," she replied with some satisfaction. "What is your name?" "Peter Pan." "Is that all?" she asked him. "Yes," he said rather sharply. For the first time, he felt that his name was a shortish name. "I'm so sorry," said Wendy. "It doesn't matter," Peter gulped. She asked where he lived. "Second to the right," Peter said, "and then straight on till morning." "What a funny address!" Wendy laughed a bit. For the first time, Peter felt that perhaps it was a funny address. "No, it isn't," he said. "I mean," Wendy said nicely, remembering that she was the hostess, "is that what they put on the letters?" "Don't get any letters," Peter said disapprovingly. "But your mother gets letters?" "Don't have a mother," he said. "Oh, no wonder you were crying," she said, and got out of bed and went to him. "I wasn't crying about mother," he said rather angrily. "I was upset because I can't get my shadow to stick on. Besides, I wasn't crying." "It has come off?" "Yes." "Then it must be sewn on." "I shall sew it on for you, my little man," she said, though he was as tall as herself. She took out her sewing box and with a needle started sewing the shadow onto Peter's foot. "I dare say it will hurt a little," she warned him. "Oh, I shan't cry," said Peter, who believed that he had never cried in his life. He clenched his teeth and did not cry, and soon his shadow started behaving normally, though it was still a little creased. "Perhaps I should have ironed it," Wendy said thoughtfully. But Peter was indifferent to appearances and was now jumping about in the wildest glee. He had already forgotten that Wendy was the cause of his happiness. He thought he had attached the shadow himself. "How clever I am!" he cried rapturously. "Oh, the cleverness of me!"